Okay, so we're starting off with the 5th year revision video. First question: if fx equals 4 minus 3x divided by 1 minus x, show that if fx is greater than 2, then x cannot take any value between 1 and 2. So what we got to do here is we got to put this inequality greater than or equal to 2. Now the trick is about inequalities is that you can't multiply across the 1 minus x because we don't know it's positive or negative. So what we got to do is we got to multiply both sides by the denominator squared. This is because this number is guaranteed to be positive and it doesn't affect the sign of the inequality. So if you have 3 is greater than 2, you can multiply the same number by both sides by any positive number, such as 2, you get 6 greater than 4. And this is basically, if you multiply both sides by a positive number, the inequality isn't affected. So by multiplying it by 1 minus x squared on both sides, you're guaranteed that the inequality isn't affected. So what's happening is this one will cancel with this one here, and now we'll get 4 minus 3x multiplied by 1 minus x. So what we're going to get is 4 minus 4x minus 3x plus 3x squared greater than, now this is going to be 1 minus 2x plus x squared, the blue part. We're going to multiply that by 2, and what we should get is 2 minus 4x plus 2x squared. Next thing we're going to do is bring everything over one side. So we're going to get 3x squared minus 2x squared. Then we're going to have minus 4x minus 3x is minus 7x. Minus 7x, bring over the other minus 4x comes plus 4x. And then bring over the 2, and it's going to be plus 4 minus 2 greater than 0. So what we're going to end up here is with x squared minus 3x plus 2 greater than or equal to 0, or greater than 0. Factorize this, and what we should get is x minus 2, x minus 1 greater than 0, x equals 2, x equals 1. Or the missing step there being x minus 2 equal to 0, bring the 2 over, x minus 1 equal to 0, bring the 1 over. Now what you're going to do is realize that this is a U-shaped graph. It's a U-shaped graph because it has a positive x squared. The number that comes in front of the x squared is 1, so it's positive. And it crosses at 1 and 2. So this crosses at x equals 1, x equals 2. We want this graph's y value to be bigger than 0, because all this represents the y value. So what we need to do is we need to find where it's bigger than 0. And as you can see, any number smaller than minus 1, smaller than 1, it's bigger than 0. And any numbers bigger than 2, it's bigger than 0. And the numbers we don't want are in between 1 and 2. Because this is the blue region here, and as you can see, it's below the x-axis. Greater than 0 means above x-axis, and less than 0 means below the x-axis. So the answer is x is smaller than 1, x greater than 2, and this proves our answer that x cannot have a value in between 1 and 2. Next question. Okay, solve this inequality. Okay. So once again, we're solving the inequality, and we're just going to do the reference number method here. 2 by 6 gives us minus 12. Minus 12, pick two numbers. We're going to go for minus 4 and plus 3. So we're going to get 2x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 6 less than or equal to 0. Okay, so what we do next is we take out 2x, and we get 2x bracket x minus 2. Take out 3, and we get 3 bracket x minus 2 less than or equal to 0. Then finally we're going to have 2x plus 3 x minus 2 less than or equal to 0. Right, this means that if it was to solve this, 2x equals minus 3, x equals 2, x equals minus 3 over 2. Looking at the inequality, it has to be less than 0. So this time it's below the x-axis. Okay, the y value needs to be below the x-axis. Quick draw of it, like so. And what we have is minus 3 over 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. It's once again a U-shaped graph because it's a positive x squared. Goes up and under. And what we get here is it's the blue region in the middle that we're looking for. So we're looking for all the numbers and including the numbers between minus 1.5 and 2. We're looking for numbers bigger than or equal to minus 3 over 2, but smaller than or equal to 2. Another way we could write that is switch this one around: minus 3 over 2 less than or equal to x, x less than or equal to 2. Then finally you can join them together into one inequality if you want. This means all the numbers between minus 3 over 2 and 2. Okay, next one is going to be part 2 here. And in part 2, what we're going to do is we're going to, once again, we don't know if this is positive or negative, so we're going to multiply both sides by x minus 1 squared. And that's going to be less than 3 into x minus 1 squared. Alright, this one will cancel with this one here. We're going to multiply out and we get x squared minus 1x plus 2x minus 2 less than, now this here is going to be x squared minus 2x plus 1. That's it when you square it out. Multiply that by 3 and you get 3x squared minus 6x plus 3. Bring the x squareds over one side. We're going to get x squared minus 3x squared. Minus 1x plus 2x is plus 1x. Going to bring the 6x over the other side, it becomes plus 6x. Then I'm going to bring the 3 over the other side, it becomes minus 3. And what we're going to be left with now is we're going to be left with minus 2x squared plus 7x, and this here is going to be minus 6. And it's all going to be less than 0. Now, there's a trick with inequalities. If I said minus 5 is smaller than minus 4, if I multiply both sides by minus 1, I get 5 and 4, and that means I change the sign around to greater than. I'm going to do the same trick here by multiplying both sides by minus 1. So I'm going to get 2x squared minus 7x plus 6 greater than 0. Now what's going to happen after this is we're going to get a reference number of 12. That's going to break up into minus 4 and minus 3. 2x squared minus 4x minus 3x plus 6 greater than 0. Factorize. We get 2x into x minus 2 minus 3 into x minus 2 greater than 0. And then what we get is 2x minus 3 x minus 2 greater than 0. And then what we should get is x minus 2 equals 0, x equals 2. 2x minus 3 equals 0, 2x equals 3, x equals 3 over 2. So 3 over 2 and 2 is where it crosses over. Okay? So if you draw this, this could be 3 over 2. This one over here could be 2. We draw our U-shaped graph. This U-shaped graph is representing this part here. This blue part here, okay? So we want it to be bigger than 0. Bigger than 0 means above x-axis, okay? So that will make it this part here and this part here. So basically x, the answer is x is smaller than 3 over 2 and x is bigger than 2. Okay, next question. Okay, St. Mel's Community College ran a disco for students. The disco was organised from a committee of students from St. Mel's, and the committee did not have to pay for admission. Otherwise, students from St. Mel's paid €10 each for admission, while students from elsewhere paid €20 each for admission. The total number of the students at the disco was 486. When the admission money was counted, it amounted to 7,620. It was noted that twice the number of paying St. Mel's students plus the number of committee members equaled the number of admissions from elsewhere. Write down 3 equations describing the situation. Alright. Let X be the committee of students, the number of committee students, okay? So that's X. Okay, let Y be the number of St. Mel's students, and let Z be the number of students from elsewhere. Now what we can say is that X plus Y plus Z is the total number of students. The total number of students at the disco was 486. The next step is total money. Okay, total money. We got no money from the committee students. That's 0x. And the money we got from the St. Mel's students is 10 multiplied by the number of St. Mel's students. And then the money we got from the students outside St. Mel's is €20 multiplied by the number of students who came in from outside. That equals 7,620. Okay, that's another one. And then it goes, it was noted that twice the number of paying St. Mel's students. Paying St. Mel's students is going to be 2 multiplied by the number of paying St. Mel's students, so that's 2y. Okay, plus the number of committee members. The number of committee members is x, equaled the number of admissions from elsewhere. So x plus 2y equals z. Okay, these are our three equations, A, B and C. So what we're going to do first is, we notice about equation B is that it has no x value, so it's just in terms of y and z, which is quite handy. We can also strike off the zeros, because you can divide by 10 both sides, and we can simply say that y plus z, the number of paying Mel students plus non-paying students is 700 and the number of paying students plus 2 times the number of paying Mel students plus 2 times the number of Mel students that didn't paying students who aren't from St. Mel's equals 762. Now what we're going to do with A and C is we're going to bring Z over the other side, and we're going to get x plus 2y minus z equals 0. We're then going to add it to A, and what we need to do is we need to get rid of the x's, okay? So it's important that I get rid of the x's. Although the z's are cancelled at the moment, it's not the z's I'm after. I'm after the x's because this one here has no x. So that means I'm going to multiply across by minus 1. So what I'll get here is minus x minus 2y plus z equals 0. And what I'm going to get is minus y plus 2z equals 486. Then I'm going to bring down this equation here, equation B. We're going to call this one equation D. And what we get is y plus 2z equals 762. And then we're going to get 4z equals 486 plus 762. 12,048. Okay, then once we do that, we're going to divide it by 4 to find out what z is, and z is 312. So z equals 312. Okay, now the next thing we got to realize is that if z is 312, y plus 2 times z is 762. So what we're going to do is going to get y plus 2 times 312, so 2 times 312 is going to be 624 equals 762. Bring over the 624 and take it away. Alright, so it's going to be 762 minus 624, and we get 138. So y equals 138. Okay. Now finally, 138. We have to figure out what x is. So y is 138, and then we have to find out the number of committee students. Now we know is x plus y plus z has to equal 486. So what we can do here is we can just take away both numbers from 486. So we can do 486 minus 312 minus 138, and the number of committee students X is 36. Now we can check out our answer if you want. To check out the answer, I know that this is 138, I know this is 312, I know this is 36. All I have to do is check out the money. So I got 138 students who paid €10, and I got 312 students that paid €20. And when I multiply that out, I get 7,620. My answer checks out. I know I'm correct. I can now go off. Okay, so the next question is, if x equals minus a half is the root of the equation 2x cubed minus 9x squared plus kx plus 6 equals 0, find the value of k. Now the truth is, f of x is this here, and if it's a root, then that means that when I replace x with a minus a half, it has to turn to 0. Okay, so this is kx. So what I have to do next is I'm just going to replace it all with minus a half. So 2 times minus a half cubed minus 9 times minus a half squared plus minus a half times x. Or sorry, it's k times minus a half. So it's going to be minus a half k plus 6 equals 0. Okay. This one's going to be 2 over, you can just use your calculator for all this, but it's basically going to be minus an 8 multiplied by 2, which is minus a quarter. Minus a quarter. This one's going to be a plus a quarter by minus 9, which is minus 9 over 4. And then this is going to be minus a half k. And this is going to be plus 6. So what I can do here is, might as well just use a calculator anyway, to be honest. So I'm just going to get 2 times minus a half squared, or cubed, minus 9 times minus a half squared, plus 6. I'm just ignoring the minus a half k part, and we can see it's 7 over 2. So minus a half k plus 7 over 2 equals 0. Bring that minus a half k over to your side, and we'll get a 7 over 2 equals k over 2, or half k. K therefore must be equal to 7. Okay, so now that we know that k equals 7, what we're going to do next is we're going to find the other 2 roots of the equation. Now, the way I like to go about doing this is I like to use the factor theorem and do long division. So what we're going to do is k equals 7. So that's 7x plus 6. So remember, if x equals minus a half is a root, bring the 2 back up where it came from. 2x equals minus 1. Bring the minus 1 to the other side, we get 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1 equals 0. Therefore, this is a factor. And this is what we're going to divide into it. Okay, so what we're going to get is 2x plus 1, and we're going to divide that into 2x cubed minus 9x squared plus 7x plus 6. Okay, it goes in 2x squared times, so we're going to get 2x cubed, 2x squared. It's going to be, both of them are pluses, but then I'm going to come in and make them both negatives. So I'm going to get minus 11x squared. Then what happens is I'm going to bring down the 7x, and then it goes in x sorry guys, just made a quick mistake there at the start. What happened was it's basically 2x cubed divided by 2x is x squared. Okay, x squared multiplied by that is 2x cubed and then x squared by 1 is plus x squared. And now we can take them away. When I take them away, I get minus and minus, and I'm going to get minus 10x squared, bring down to 7x. Okay, and then what we're going to get next is minus 5x. Multiply the minus 5x in, we're going to get 10x squared minus 5x, and then we're going to add them together, plus and plus, and then we're going to get 12x, bring down to 6, and this will go in 6 times. Okay, now what this basically means is this big inequality here, it basically is the same thing as 2x plus 1 multiplied by x squared minus 5x plus 6. Now, as discussed earlier, there's two numbers there. It either means the first one is equal to 0, in which case the answer is x equals minus half, or the second number equals 0. So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to do the reference number with the second number, or the second number, which is x squared minus 5x plus 6. And what we're going to get there is we're going to get x minus 3, x minus 2 equals 0. And then we're going to get x equals 3, x equals 2. A cheap way of doing it would be to put it into your calculator. Check your answer. You can go to mode table, and if I just put in this here, we can go 2 bracket x cubed plus minus 9x squared plus 7x plus 6, and then if I start, now all my numbers are from minus a half, so I'm just going to go from minus 2 up to maybe 5. I'm going to go in a step of 0.5. I'm going to verify my answer here. Okay, so look, so just quick check over this again. 2x cubed minus 9x squared plus 7x plus 6. 2x cubed, 9x squared, plus 7x plus 6. Start minus 2, end 5, step. Okay, we need to see where it equals 0. Okay, so when we do this, what happens is we can see that the minus a half, which is the first root, gives you the value of 0. We can see that the 2 gives you the value of 0, and we can also see 3 gives you a value of 0. So you can already check your 3 roots actually work, because whatever number you replace in for x should get you an answer of 0. Okay, next one, moving on, we're going to have to solve this one here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to let y equal ln x. And then we're going to have 2y squared minus 7y plus 3 equals 0. Reference number is going to be 2 multiplied by 3, which is 6. Going to turn into 1 and 6, both minuses. We're going to get 2y squared minus y minus 6y plus 3 equals 0. Factorize out, we're going to get y into 2y minus 1. 2y minus 1. And we're going to get minus 3. We're going to get y minus 3 to 2y minus 1 equals 0. And what we're going to get is y equals 3, 2y minus 1 equals 0, y equals a half. Okay, now this is solve an x equation. We got an answer for y, not for x. And what y is y means ln x. ln x equals 3, ln x equals a half. Now what is ln x? ln x means log to the base e. Log x to the base e equals 3. This means x equals e to the power of 3. That's an acceptable answer. You could also type it into your calculator, where you can do e to the power of 3. You can see a shift e 3. You can get it as 20.1 if you want. And then likewise, this means log to the base e of x equals a half. Therefore, bring the e up. It's going to be x equals e to the power of a half. And we all know e to the power of half. The power of half means the square root of e. Okay, so that's the answer to that question there. Next one. Let f of x be equal to x cubed minus 1 over x squared minus 1. And g of x is equal to x squared plus 1, x squared minus x minus 1. It wants me to do f of x divided by g of x. It's basically one fraction divided by another fraction because they're both fractions. Remember junior cert, when I divide by fractions, what I do is I turn the second one upside down. So I'm going to get 3/4 multiplied by 6 over 5. And my answer should be 18 over 20. This question is no different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get f of x here. I'm going to get x cubed minus 1 over x squared minus 1. And then I'm going to turn g of x upside down. So I'm going to get x squared minus x minus 2. X squared plus x plus 1. Now I'm going to go into factorizing mode. I can see that this is the difference of two cubes. Please remember the difference of two cubes. A minus b bracket a squared plus ab plus b squared. A is in x, b equals 1. So what we're going to get here is we're going to get a minus b bracket a squared, sorry, not a minus b, x minus 1 bracket x squared instead of a squared. Instead of ab we're going to have 1 times x, which is 1x. And then b squared is going to be 1 squared, which is 1. This part here is the same as this red part here. Okay. Then on the bottom we're going to have the difference of two squares, because we can see that's x squared minus 1 squared, which is going to be x plus 1, x minus 1. And then on the top we're going to have to do the reference number on this one here, which is going to be x minus 2, x minus 1. And that's all going to be divided by x squared plus x plus 1. Now remember, everything on the top is being multiplied, everything on the bottom is being multiplied, therefore we can strike them off. This one gets stricken off with this one. The x minus 1, well, it can be that x minus 1 there. And then finally my answer will be, and that's x plus 1. Sorry, when I factorized it wrong. That's going to be x minus 2, x plus 1. So the x plus 1s will cancel, and what we'll get there, our answer is x minus 2. Okay, and that's it. A is 1 and b is minus 2, because I want it in the form ax plus b, where a is 1 and b is minus 2. Find the values of a and b. Done. Next question. Two machines X and Y are used to pack biscuits. A random sample of 10 packets was taken, and from each machine the mass of each packet was measured to the nearest gram. Find the standard deviation of the masses of the packets taken in the sample from each machine. Okay, so look, I'm going to get the standard deviation of two different sets of data this time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to mode, and what I can do is I'll just do them one at a time actually. Okay, so I'll go stat, one variable. Okay, now see the way there's no frequency. Okay, frequency tells me how many times I have it on. If I want to put in the frequency, I'm just going to go to mode, stat, one variable. Sorry, I need to put the frequency on. So shift, setup, press down, stat, frequency is on. Once again, go mode, go stat, one variable, and let's begin. Okay, it's going to be 195. 197 pops up twice, so I can do it twice for 197. Then 198, 199. 199 happens twice as well. 200 happens twice. And then 201, 204. Now that I have that put in, what I can do is find the standard deviation of the mass of packets taken. Okay, so I'm going to do two things for you. I'm going to show you how to get the mean as well. Go to shift, stat, variable. The mean is this x bar, this gives me the average. The average for this one would have been, the average value would have been 199. Okay, and then if I go to the standard deviation, and remember, standard deviation is a measure of how perfect it is, how consistent is your machine. Okay, and it's number 3. The standard deviation of the first machine is 2.37. Okay, so we'll go for 2.37. So sigma equals 2.37. Next we'll do the other one, and what you can go is shift stat data, and we can change our data if we want. Okay, or you could just do it completely new again. So we'll do it completely new. Okay, we've got 191, 194, oh sorry, 193, excuse me, 194, 197, 199, 200. Now we can already see that it's much more spread out. This machine seems to be a lot more inconsistent than the other machine. Okay, then we're just going to go in, find its standard deviation, stat, variable, standard deviation being number 3, and we see that its standard deviation is 4.9. Okay, so standard deviation is 4.9. Just want to see what its mean is out of interest. Its mean is also 199. So this is an example of the average of both of them is 199. But this one has a larger standard deviation, so machine Y isn't as consistent as machine X. Machine X is much more likely to produce the mass of 199 grams than machine Y. Okay, next question. This is a solve question, and it involves 3 to the power of x. So what we can say here is we've never really solved anything like this before. So to solve this, what we'd have to do is we'd have to say let y equal 3 to the x. And when you let y equal 3 to the x, what's going to happen is we're going to change 3 to the x plus 2. We're going to use the rules for this. It's going to be 3 squared multiplied by 3 to the x, which is going to be 9 times 3 to the x, which is going to be 9y. The other one here, 3 to the 2 minus x, is going to be 3 squared 3 to the minus x. The rule for 3 to the minus x is that it's 1 over 3 to the x. And then what's going to happen is we're going to change 3 squared into 9. And that's going to be 9 multiplied by 1 over y, which is going to be 9 over y. So what our equation turns out to be is 9y minus 82 plus 9 over y equals 0. So once we have that completed, what we're going to do next is we're going to multiply everything by y. So that's 9yy, or 9y squared. And then we're going to have 82y divided by y. All the y's cancel. And we're going to have is 9y squared minus 82y plus 9 equals 0. Reference number 9 multiplied by 9 is 81. It's minus 82, so it's going to be minus 81 minus 1. 9y squared minus 81 minus 1 plus 9 equals 0. 9y into y minus 9. Y minus 9 minus 1 on the outside. And then we're going to get 9y minus 1. Y minus 9 equals 0. And then what we're next going to get is 9y minus 1 equals 0. Y minus 9 equals 0. Y equals 9. Or 9y equals 1. Y equals a ninth. Next step, we know that y equals 3 to the power of x. So 3 to the power of x equals a ninth. 3 to the power of x equals 9. We know that 9 is 3 squared. 3 to the power of x equals 3 squared, x equals 2. 3 to the power of x equals 1 over 3 squared. That's like the negative rule. We can bring it to the top, we can turn it into a negative number. 3 to the power minus 2. And therefore x equals minus 2. Okay, you need to know off all your rules to make sure you know how to do this. Okay, next question. This is a simplified question. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to write down x to the power 3 over 2. And this one here, x to the power minus a half, is the same thing as 1 over x to the power of a half. So it's going to be minus 1 over x to the power of a half, divided all by x to the power of a half, minus 1 over x to the power of a half. So what we do here is we multiply this one by this one. And we're going to get, that's going to be x to the power 3 over 2, x to the power of a half, add them together, and we get x squared. So it's going to be 3 lines, remember 3 lines, 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to get x squared minus 1, all divided by x to the power of a half. On the bottom we're also going to have 3 lines, 2, 3. And we're going to have is x to the power of a half by x to the power of a half equals x to the power 1 or x. So the first line results in x. The second line results in minus 1. The third line here results in x to the power of a half. Now remember what happens. We have one fraction divided by another fraction. So remember what happened if you have 3/4 divided by 5/6. Once again, takes us back to that question we had earlier. Also what we do is we bring the 5/6 up and turn it upside down and multiply it. So we're going to multiply with 6 over 5 to get 18 over 20. Bring this fraction here up to the top and turn it upside down. Same deal. Okay, so what we should get is x squared minus 1 over x to the power of a half, multiply by x to the power of a half is now on top, and on the bottom is x minus 1. The x to the power halves are being multiplied on the top and the bottom, so they can cancel each other out. Then x squared minus 1 can factorize into x plus 1, x minus 1. That's all going to be divided by x minus 1. The x minus 1s, they cancel. And the answer will be x plus 1. Okay. Next question. X squared minus t is a factor of x cubed minus px squared minus qx plus r. Show that pq equals r. Okay. So what we're going to do here is it's going to be x squared plus 0x, because there's no x value, minus t. If it's a factor, it divides in equally. So that'll leave x cubed minus px squared minus qx plus r. Okay. Next thing we're going to start dividing in. So x cubed divided by x is going to give you x. Going to multiply that x over here. And what we're going to do when we multiply by those 3 numbers, we're going to get x cubed plus 0x squared minus tx. Come in, change the signs. We're going to get minus, minus, and plus. Now we're done with our first set of multiplication. It doesn't really matter anymore, okay? Now we can take them away. We're going to get 0 minus px squared. And then this one's going to be tx minus qx, or minus qx plus tx. Factorize out the x. We're going to get t minus qx. So plus t minus q times x. Got to bring down the r. Okay. Next thing. How many times does x squared going to minus px squared, and that's going to be minus p times. Multiply minus p by x squared, so once again 3 lines going to come out, and what we're going to get is minus px squared plus 0x, this is going to be 0x still, and then minus p by minus t is plus pt. And what's going to happen is we've got to change the signs, so that's going to be plus, that's going to be a minus, and this one's going to be a minus. Because it's a factor, it divides unequally, so everything here equals 0. So we're going to get the following equations. We're going to get t minus q times x equals 0. No x's, no x squareds, and no numbers. Okay, so that means t minus q equals 0, therefore t equals q. Okay, and we're asked to show that pq equals r. The next one is r minus pt has to equal 0. And this therefore means that when I bring pt over to your side, pt equals r. And we know that t equals q, so this means pq equals r. And that's what I was asked to prove. Okay. Now, it goes, express the roots of x cubed minus px squared minus qx plus r in terms of p and q. Well, we're just going to write down what we know already. We know that q equals t. We know that pq equals r. And that's all we really need to know, okay? So there's two things that happens here. What we can say is that this whole equation here, underlined in black, or sorry, we'll underline it in blue. This whole equation equals x minus p multiplied by x squared minus t. We know this because when we divided x squared minus t into this, we got x minus p. So that means that the two of these equal, when you multiply them by each other, equals 0. The next thing we gotta do is we gotta expand out our brackets, okay? So it either means the first number equals 0 or the second number equals 0. So either means x minus p equals 0 or x squared minus t equals 0. And remember, solving x is the roots. X equals p is one root. The next root is x squared equals t. Therefore, x equals plus or minus root t. Another way of thinking of that would have been the difference of two squares, or we did x, we could have done t equals root t to be squared. So we could have got x minus root t, or sorry, x plus root t, x minus root t. Okay, and then we'd solve that equal to 0, and you get x equals minus root t or plus root t. Now the problem is with root t is not in terms of p and q, but we know that t is equal to q. Therefore the answer is the other roots are x equals minus root q and x equals plus root q. So there's your three answers there. Okay, moving on. The result of a survey of number of passengers carried out by a taxi in town was recorded as follows. If the mean number of passengers carried per taxi was 3, find the value of t. Well, we have to find out what the mean is, okay? Now the mean equals is the average. So equals total number of passengers. The total number of passengers divided by the total number of taxis. And what we're going to do here is just going to multiply this. So 3 taxis carried 1 passenger, that's 3 passengers total. T taxis covered 2 passengers, that's 2t. 9 taxis carried 3, that's 27. 6 taxis carried 4, that's 24. 4 taxis carried 5, that's 20. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add those numbers together. So we have 3 plus 27 plus 24 plus 20. 74 plus 2t. (74 plus 2t) divided by, what's the number of taxis? It's going to be 3 plus 9, 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. It's 22 plus t. And all of that equals 3, because the average is 3. Go and cross multiply the 3 up, and I'm going to get 74 plus 2t equals 66 plus 3t. Move the t over one side, 66 over the other, so we're going to get 74 minus 66 equals 3t minus 2t. And then what we should have here is 8 equals t. That means there was 8 taxis carrying 2 people. How many taxis were in the survey? Well, I can just add them all up together now. It was actually 22 plus t. And that will now equal 30, because t equals 8. Is the given data discrete or continuous? The data is discrete because you either have 1 or 2 passengers. You can't have 1.5 passenger. Like the likes of a baby is still considered a passenger. So 2 adults and 1 baby would be still three passengers. Likewise, taxis, you either are in a taxi or you aren't. You either have 1 or 2 taxis. You can't have 1.5 taxis. So it's very much discrete. Okay, so the next one is factorize. Okay, so factorize a cubed plus b cubed. So a cubed plus b cubed, there's a formula for that. So a cubed plus b cubed is going to be a plus b brackets a squared minus ab plus b squared. And when you factorize this, it actually turns out to be a ridiculously easy question here, where it's going to be a plus b bracket a squared minus ab plus b squared, then all divided by a squared minus ab plus b squared. The two of these will cancel off, and the answer is going to be a plus b. Okay, so that's the answer to that one. The next one is a quadratic linear simultaneous one. So what we can see here is we have a rocket, okay, and as part of army exercise, the rocket is fired at a balloon of gas. When passing through the balloon, the rocket will cause the gas ignite. If the rocket only touches the balloon or misses it entirely, the gas will not ignite. Okay, so look, basically the balloon is represented by a curve. Okay, and that's the curve, and that's the equation of the curve there. Okay, and then the balloon, or more so maybe a circle, and the balloon is, the rocket is represented by equation of line. So we have to see if it goes straight through it, we have to see if it touches it, or if the rocket just completely misses it. So what happens is I write down my two equations. X squared plus y squared equals 20. The second one is going to be x minus 2y plus 10 equals 0. So I have a choice of, I have to solve this, okay? Now to solve this, what we're going to do is we're going to first get the linear, one of the letters on its own linear equation. X is currently has no numbers in front of it, so what I can do is I can move the other two out the other side. So I'm going to get x equals 10 minus 2y. Then once I get that, I can replace x in the quadratic equation with 10 minus 2y squared plus y squared equals 20. I'm going to square this out. We're going to get 10 minus 2y, 10 minus 2y plus y squared Bring the 20 over the other side, minus 20 equals 0. Gonna get next is multiply it out. You're gonna get 100 minus 20y minus 20y plus 4y squared plus y squared minus 20 equals 0. Add them together, we're going to get 5y squared minus 20y minus 20y is minus 40y, and then we're going to get 100 minus 20 is 80. Now the way this would work is, if I got no solutions, this is what would happen. It wouldn't intersect at all. If I get one solution, it touches, and if I get two solutions or two y values, it goes straight through it. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Divide everything by 5, so we get y squared minus 8y plus 16 equals 0. And then this is a perfect square, reference number of 16. We're going to go for minus 4 minus 4. So we're going to get y minus 4, y minus 4 equals 0. Y equals 4. And if y equals 4, then x equals 10 minus 2y. 2y therefore is minus 2 times 4. 10 minus 8. X equals 2. There's only one solution, 2 and 4. This means that it only touches it. It's this answer here. The red line is what the rocket takes, and because it only touches it once, the gas will not ignite.